Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss outline sketch of animal farm. So without wasting any time, let's begin it. There was a farm in England and it was called Manor Farm. The owner of the farm was one Mr. Jones. There he lived with his wife. He was very fond of drinking wine. He was an old-fashioned farmer. He did not pay any attention to the improvements on the farm. He did not treat his animal kindly also. It is a brave sketch of Mr. Jones and condition available at that farm, which is known as Manor Farm. On the farm, there were many animals. They were not treated well by Mr. Jones. They worked very hard but got a little to eat. They were not happy. Among the animals, there were pigs, horses, hens, goats, donkey, dogs, a raven, a duckling, and cows. One of the pigs was called Major. He was an old boar. He was 12 years old. He had a strange dream and he wanted to narrate it to all the animals of Manor Farm. After it, what happened? One night, the Major asked all the animals to assemble in the big barn. He said to them, "Comrades, I will die soon. I have acquired some wisdom. I want to pass it on to you. Our lives are very hard, unhappy, and short. We get little to eat. We have no happiness and pleasures. No animal in England is free. All this is due to man. The all conditions which are being treated as an ill condition are due to reason of man's bad habit and not kindliness of man towards animal. No animal in the England is free. All this is due to man. Man is our only a real enemy. Remove man and we will be happy." This was the dream of old Major. Major finished his speech. Then he told the animals about his dream. It was a song which he had heard from his mother. The song revived in his memory in a dream. Its title was Beast of England. He sung the song and the animals sung with him. Soon the animals also learned to sing by heart. 3 nights later, old Major passes away, but he had inspired the animals to rebel against man. Major's speech had a great effect on the animals. They held a secret meetings. They thought of rebellion against Mr. Jones. At last, they decided to carry out their resolution. It was also because They were tired of Mr. Jones' ill treatment. They were not properly fed by him. They could not tolerate his cruelty any longer. Therefore, they rose in rebellion against him. One of the cows broke open the door. Mr. Jones and his men heard the sound. They came with their whips in their hands. The hungry animals could not bear it. All of them rushed at Mr. Jones and his men. This panic situation created a kind of a terror in the minds of animals. The master and his men took to the hills. The animal chased them out of manure farm. The farm come under their control. The animal thus became the master of manure farm. They were two intelligent boar among the animals. They were Snowball and another one, Mr. Napoleon. They could read and write. They became the leaders of animals in the upcoming future. They began to manage the farm. All the animals did as it was decided and ordered by them. They also changed the name of manure farm and began to call it as with a new name called as animal farm. The animals had their own ideology which they called as animalism. The principle of animalism were reduced to seven commandments. These seven commandments were printed in large letters on the tattered wall of the farm. It is also treated as a constitution of animal farm. The animal did all the work on the farm. They got the harvest in. They threshed the corn, milked the cows. All the animals worked hard. None of them stole food. They neither quarreled nor did they grumble. The only exception to this was Molly, the pretty white mare. She always found an excuse to remain away from work. It in the end she ran away from Animal Farm. The cat also did not do much work. She was absent at work but was always present at meal times. On Sunday, the animals did no work. After breakfast, there was an held a ceremony. They celebrated, they celebrated the day of rebellion. It was celebrated without any fail. First of all, the flag was hosted. After that, there was a general assembly. Here, they made plan for next week. Resolutions were also passed for doing all these things. Some of the controversial points were freely debated by the animals. The meeting would end after the singing of the song Beast of England, Beast of England. Snowball looked after the affairs of Animal Farm. He had formed several committees for various improvement on the farm. He started reading and writing classes for animals, he reduced the seven commandments to a single maximum. It was that four legs good, two legs bad. Mr. Jones attacked animal farm in order to recapture it, but animals under the leadership of Snowball defeated him again. Once more they chased him out of the farm. After the Battle of Cowshed, military decoration were created. They were Animal Hero First Class and Animal Hero Second Class. Snowball and Boxer received Animal Hero First Class award. Snowball wanted to build a windmill on the farm. It was to supply electric power to the farm for various kind of work. But Napoleon disagreed with Snowballs on this project. Napoleon always disagreed with Snowball on all matters. Windmill became a controversial point which divided the animals into two camps. Napoleon was very cunning and tactful, and he had secretly bought up nine pups. They had become fearful dogs who were ready to do anything for Napoleon. With their help, Napoleon drew Snowball out of the animal farm, and after it, Napoleon alone was left in the field of leadership. He became the self appointed dictator of the farm. With him, changed the life of the animals on the farm. Their lives became harder and harder every day. But the pigs were the chosen class. They enjoyed better comforts. Now, Napoleon was left without his rival. He was quite different from Snowball. He was not liberal and generous like Snowball. He became a dictatorial rule and introduced many changes in management of the farm. He stopped journal debates and discussions. His discussions were final and had to be obeyed. He desired perfect discipline among the animals. He also decided to build the windmill, for he made the animal works like slaves. He also began to have trade with neighbor farms. He offered hay, weeds, and eggs, etc., for sale. He engaged a solicitor named Mr. Vampire, who acted as intermediary between Animal Farm and the outside world. Mr. Vampire carried out on business for Napoleon. By that time, the windmill was near to completion. Once it was a stormy night. The animals also heard as if a gun had been let off. In the morning, the animals were shocked to find the windmill in the ruins. Napoleon declared that it was the work of Snowball. He also announced a reward for catching Snowball dead or alive. He asked the animals to restart the work of building the windmill. Napoleon lived like a dictator. He hardly appeared in the public. He spent all his time in the farmhouse. He came out in a ceremonial manner. He was always surrounded by 6 dogs. They grew fearfully if anyone tried to approach near him. Once he said that some animals were in league with Snowball. He ordered his dogs to kill such animals. It was strange things for the animals. The animals were more frightened than they ever. They could do nothing against Napoleon. One day, Napoleon issued two new orders that the animals should not call him Comrade Napoleon but Leader Napoleon. By his second order, he forbade the singing of beasts. These orders made the animal even more afraid. Napoleon now became a perfect dictator. He was never seen in the public. All his orders were issued by Squirreler. He took his meal alone. Two dogs waited upon him. He always ate from the Crown Derby dinner service. A gun was fired every year on his birthday. Four dogs guarded his bed at night. A pig tasted his food before he himself ate it. He named the windmill as Napoleon Mill. In the end, he wanted to have better relations with his neighbors. He invited them to the farm. With them, he drank wine and played cards. He also announced that the name of animal form had again been changed to the man form. The animals were amazed when they saw the pigs walk on their hind legs like man. In the end, we conclude to say that the animal discovered that there was no difference between man and pigs, and under the Napoleon rule, they were as miserable as Mr. Jones' time.